Welcome, everyone. You are listening to No Quitting the Home Team, Episode 3, Season 3. I'm Renee.
I'm Dave.
I'm Jesse.
And we're glad you joined us today for an article talk, discussion, and more.
And more.
And more. We have new segments, remember?
That's a nickname of someone on staff.
And more.
And more. Yeah. We can, we'll maybe tease that later, but.
Is it?
And what that?
Are they sitting in this room?
Nope.
Nope.
But it's a fun nickname.
Okay. Well, let's start with let's just catch up. How are you doing, honey?
I am honestly really frustrated
Okay.
right now.
With me?
No, not with you. But I am annoyed. I'm not annoyed often.
He's not.
I'm
It's
usually
true.
not. I'm usually not frustrated. I'm usually am quite buoyant.
Hard to
And-
get his goat.
It
Yes.
is.
But as I sit in this seat right now, I am so frustrated because I've spent so much of the last 2 days looking for lost things that belong to my children. I've had to. There's been a Bible that's been lost that has sent one of our children into a tailspin.
Which
Which is great.
It was grateful that he's been apoplectic because he cannot find his Bible.
Right.
Can I guess?
Yes.
Beckett.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but it's kind of one of these things where it's like, okay, of course, we'll find, but it's like, have you found my Bible? And it's like, well, it's not my Bible, it's your Bible. But so he looked all throughout the house and then looked at the church. And finally, it was found this morning, thankfully. But there was a lot of energy dedicated to that. Mm-hmm. We had another child who will not be named who left a phone perhaps in Europe, and we live here in America, and the phone is still in Europe, and we can see where it is.
Which, if we should make the plea, although this is going to air in a few weeks.
It's gonna be way too
if
late.
Doesn't matter.
If anyone is in the Zurich, Switzerland airport, contact me ASAP.
ASAP. We need that phone.
It's just taunting you on Find My right now.
Yeah. So the phone call, you can imagine just the phone calls and all the things that are involved with trying to retrieve said phone. It's just not time I was really hoping to give this week. So I'm just a little annoyed right now.
Can I ask you an uncomfortable question about that?
Yes, and I think I know what you're going to ask, and the answer is yes.
Wait.
Tying back to last week in expectations and mind reading, Dave.
Yes. Wait. What do you think I was going to ask?
Am I annoyed because are these traits that I myself have? Because it's my own, I see my own weaknesses in my children, and I'm annoyed to see that. The answer is yes, and yes.
Okay.
And so,
maybe that
was I
wasn't
right? Yes. Okay, so I take back everything I said about mind reading last week.
It was some form of that. It was less indicting than you had for yourself, but
Yeah.
it was some form of that.
No,
We are most frustrated to see in others the things we hate about ourselves.
well,
right?
especially when you have kids, there's this mythology that you're going to pass on your good traits,
Right.
and the truth is that some of that, like there are some things you see that's good, but then the shadow side of our personality, the stuff that's less attractive and that you don't really love about, like you have to work to integrate the harder stuff and own it. And when you see that in your kid, it's a special kind of trigger.
Yeah, it's interesting
Yeah.
though, because you'd think I would be more triggered because I am the one who doesn't usually lose things, and I kind of keep up with things. And you think
But it's from an area of strength though, from you. So it's easier for you to bring
Have-
that up.
compassion.
Yeah. And
No, you think
and-
I would be more frustrated with them,
right.
because it's an area of strength.
Right, but it's more. But I think but it's not because this isn't a personal weakness of yours. You
Yeah.
can talk about it from an area of strength.
Oh, gotcha,
whereas
gotcha,
I
gotcha.
talk about it, and even if I work hard to get better at it, of course, I don't just lose tons of things all the time. Mm-hmm. I have gotten better at it, certainly compared to when I was fragmenting several years ago. That's another,
It's another
episode.
episode. It's another episode.
So there's an insecurity there that it takes effort for me to work on, and then I see it
Yeah.
not being worked on,
Right.
and just pure weakness in other people. It's an area of frustration.
Okay. I'm sorry you're frustrated.
Yeah. Well, how about you? How are you doing?
This week I feel like I need a vacation. And I was thinking back and you got a couple weeks off and I didn't take time off. And I really haven't had a vacation like where I didn't have, because you always kind of have the daily home stuff. When was the last time I just had like days on end where I didn't have?
Yeah, you kind of got to watch me have vacation.
I did while I was.
How was that?
It wasn't as rejuvenating as taking vacation, I don't think.
Makes sense.
But this is the first. I feel
Unfortunate.
like I just need a vacation.
Yeah, which we're gonna have a week starting
1st of August.
1st of August.
Yeah. The trick is going to be if I can just completely unplug from work. That's going to be the trick.
Well,
Is that will you be allowed to, or is that will you allow yourself to?
I think I would be allowed to. I'm technically a contractor, so if I don't work, I don't get paid. So a vacation just feels different when you don't get paid.
Yeah.
And it's right before a super important season, the start of school. So to be gone like the week before school starts might be tricky. Mm-hmm. I'm still thinking about it, but I just think I need a vacation.
yeah.
Do you experience me as cranky and exhausted?
Not really.
No?
No. I mean, nothing. No. I think, in fact, this summer, and again, could be totally reflective just from my perspective, but with Will being home and us having we've spent a lot of time together, and you haven't had to go into your
Right,
office,
right,
so
right.
you've been around.
Right.
So there's this, you're here,
Right.
So I think maybe I haven't seen you as sort of on the go, even though you've been
Right.
working, but from home.
Yeah.
So, do you feel like the quality, like the percentage of Renee that they would get if you took vacation for a week would be higher than the percentage of Renee, the quality of Renee they would get if you did not take that week, especially going into a very important, hectic season?
It's a good question. I think what I'm considering is potentially just working a few hours every day. So it still feels like, because the kids sleep in, we're at the stage where we've got to rouse everyone at noon if we're going to do something on
I
vacation.
mean, what else is there to being a teenager?
Right.
You know?
So I think I'm wrestling with, do I just not take my computer, or do I try to get a few hours in the morning so that I feel like a good employee and don't drop any important balls. So that's the
Can I answer that question?
sure.
I think they'll get the same Renee. It's just that on the home front, we'll get a different Renee. That standard will still, I know how you're made.
Yeah.
That standard will still be there on the work front. Mm-hmm. It's just the cost in other ways, I think, would
Yeah.
be.
And would you actually be able to properly rest while only working a few hours a day? Because
Right.
I know I don't operate well
Yeah, no.
like that.
No, because
You
you,
either
wake
unplug
up
or
with
you
the
don't.
to-dos.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
But this is the tyranny of work. It's
Yes.
and why it's always hard to take a vacation, because
Yeah.
you always
Yep.
pay for it one way or another.
Truly.
So I think we're doing great. I mean, I think we just found out that. So the church high school camping trip is on the tail end of our vacation. So we thought the boys wouldn't want to go, but they really want to go. So we were like, well, we could technically drive back from the mountains, drop them off. And then Michael was like, hey, does Will want to go too? And Will was like, yeah, that'd be fun. And so we're going to have one night with no children in the mountains still on vacation.
Dang. That's
Yeah.
going to be...
Interesting.
That
So
might
we can do a official, like, go out for our anniversary, which our
interesting.
anniversary is this
I
weekend.
know.
Yeah.
I saw that.
It's like, oh my gosh, it's our
The
anniversary.
reason I remember is because you guys are basically, I mean, you're right at a month ahead of us, but it's like 10 years in a month, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, it is coming up. Is it Monday?
It's Saturday.
It's Saturday. Jeez. The part of the problem is that it's your sister's wedding next week, and we're
And-
like the epicenter for it. And all the cousins are coming in today.
Tonight and staying with us.
of course.
Yeah, so
So
it's
we're
gonna be
going to
busy.
have like
maybe
a
that's why I
house-
feel tired.
a
Maybe
house filled.
that's why I feel
with
like I need a
relatives on
vacation.
our
I'm pre
anniversary.
anticipating that stress.
Pre-tired.
Yes, I'm pre tired.
Yeah.
We went to the grocery store. So we have 3 nieces and nephews. The brother right under me's kids are gonna come out a week in advance so they can hang with my boys. So we're just gonna host them. And so we went to the grocery store yesterday to shop for all 3 of my boys and their 3 kids. And the age is they're like almost exactly the same, maybe 1 year younger of all my kids. And you should have seen. I mean, when I go just for my family, I mean, I'm sure like the grocery haul is a spectacle. You should have seen us in the grocery store yesterday.
The person checking us out like gave us like the big eye look. Like, ooh, you guys
you're-
hungry or something?
You really coming through this lane? Okay, so that's me.
Cool. All right. Jesse, you want to give a quick? Is there a quick?
No, there's not a quick one.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Boys are excited to get back to school.
Are they?
They're going to be at this. Yeah, and well, part of it is they will be at the same school for the first time in their life. So Joshy's starting ECE 4. Jacob is a rising third grader, and so they will, for the next 3 years at least, be in the same school.
Love that for you.
That's-
I love
And
that for
they
you
are-
guys.
I love that for a unified drop off,
Mm-hmm.
unified pickup. They love it because they get to be in the same place.
It's fun.
And by the grace of God, they love each other and are friends. So, very excited for that. And we'll just update on the rest of our
Yeah,
life
later.
another day.
Yeah. Sounds good. All right. Next segment. What we've learned so far. The segment is just a time for us to reflect on hard-won lessons, both positively and maybe negatively. And the
Hard one, old people, married lessons.
yes. And this one, I don't think this will be terribly encouraging to those out there.
But
it
helpful.
Is, but
Oh,
it's
no.
helpful.
But helpful.
It's helpful. It's truthful.
Yeah.
And you just kind of need to put it in your pipe and smoke it in order, and like come to terms with it.
Right.
And there's peace that comes.
Yep.
So it's kind of, it goes like this. Here's what we've learned so far. It's all hard. Like we keep waiting for like the non-hard phase. Or like the phase where it's like, oh, we kind of got this sorted out, and this stage of marriage and with kids and the stage of kids and all those dynamics, there's this sort of kind of a mirage where it's like, oh, the next phase I think is going to be that phase where it gets easier. And now, of course, there is some truth to that, in that, like, for those of you who have like tiny kids at home, like that is a unique kind of hard, like on your sleep and on your body. That is, of course, true. That is unique, but it's also, we're finding equally.
It's replaced by an equally felt hard, but it's a different hard.
a different kind of hard when your kids are out of the home, or you're now have to navigate a different kind of physical battle
Yeah.
that isn't being tired because you're up all night with kids who won't sleep, but you're up all night because your own body won't allow yourself to go to sleep.
Yeah, I was talking with a friend about that this week because we had this phase. I think when you have littles and babies, you're just like actually physically exhausted. In this phase, I describe it as there's just a constant, I'm learning to live with a constant state of unease. Like,
That's a good way of putting it.
so like when I had one kid in Europe, my oldest is here, but he was, he was somewhere.
In the mountains.
It was in the mountains. Yeah, camping with friends. And I think before, when like the kids were home at night, you like shut them in their room and you're like, there's just a rest.
Just lock him in there.
That you don't ever, you never get that.
Yeah.
There's like it's like a low level unease all the time. And you think they're fine, but you just, I don't know. It's a different physical reality that I didn't, and I think once, like when Will went to college, I learned to live with that better. Because we took him off all of our tracking devices. He asked us to, which I think
Reasonable.
is reasonable for sure. And we trust him. But I couldn't, most nights I didn't know if he made it home or when he made it home. And in the beginning, that unease was very heightened and you can't sleep.
Right.
But I think just this phase, there's a low level unease all the time.
Well, I think it's learning to come to terms with that and giving it over to God afresh.
Right.
Like we have baby dedications, child dedications at church, and you know, these young parents have to go through this process of spiritually and engaging with God. Say, God, you gave me this kid, and now in my own soul, I'm giving my child back to you, and I want to steward my child's life as best I can as her parent, his parent. But knowing that it's the child's a gift. It's not, you know, the child doesn't belong to me. It belongs to God. And I think we're finding we have to do that afresh in this stage. And we're, you know, 20 years in, 17 years in, 14 years in. So there's a ton of investment in that, but we're kind of having to learn to give them. And, you know, our kids are doing great. I mean,
Right,
it's not
right.
like
Right.
we're burdened by the direction of their lives. We feel really grateful for that, but it is still a process. And I think the point is that it's still
hard.
It's still hard.
Yeah.
It's still
Yeah.
hard. It hasn't come easy or naturally. There's been a process to it, in the same way that learning to be a good parent of preschoolers was a process, and you had to work at it to get good at it. I'm finding the exact same
Right.
thing now.
And how that interfaces with marriage too. Like it's every phase is hard in its own way. 'Cause I was even thinking about this the other day. We have a little house and people are always around and always up in our house.
Oh, dear Lord. They're
Always around.
Always around, always up.
Somebody's always around and always up.
24/7.
So it just like even how your every phase we're mentioning it specifically toward parenting, but even how that interfaces with marriage.
Yeah.
So when they're tiny, they're crying, you're exhausted, they're waking you up, and like this summer, I just feel like somebody's always around and always up.
I feel like you and I have constant chaperones.
We
They're
do.
always
We do.
like,
And I kid you not, if they're like, hey, they're downstairs, they can sense it.
if there's
yeah.
any,
They can sense it.
Oh,
Will
yes.
will come in and he's like, I mean, he hasn't been in our room in 4 days. We haven't seen him in 4 days. He's like, hey, can I sit and watch a show with you guys? And we're like,
No, man, you can't. There's like 4 other places you can go in this house to watch something. It's Friday morning.
So I
Don't
feel
you know what Friday mornings are? Sheesh.
I feel like that's been hard this summer.
it has been, and kind of sweet. Like
Right.
of course we're happy
Yeah,
that they
for sure.
want to be around, and it's
But
like, can you
also-
also help a brother out? And the answer is no. There's no.
They're going to listen to this one day and just be horrified.
Well,
they'll be fine.
They'll be fine.
They'll get it.
Anyway, so that's what we've learned so far. Sorry to dash any expectations you might have of things getting easier in the future, but
But I do think that helps you. If you're not kind of waiting for the next better phase, it helps you to just like enjoy the sweet moments when they're there.
That's exactly what I was going to
and
say.
Yeah.
you learn how, like, there's no phase where you're not going to have to learn something.
Yeah, and it helps you just be like, hey, this. I think it points you to a trajectory toward gratefulness
Yes.
in the things that are good in that season. Instead of like, you can be, you know how you get when you're waiting for a vacation, you're like, if I can just get to the vacation, it kind of takes you out of that like life phase mentality to like, if we can just get to the next phase and enjoy the good things that are there when you're there.
Totally.
Yeah, be here now.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very Kohelethy.
Yes.
Truly.
Yes. Is that
Tomorrow's not promised.
Yep. Yeah. So that's our wisdom for today.
Yes.
Da-da.
All right.
All right. Now we're switching to our article talk, which
Article
sounds,
talk. Article talk.
we need a jingle. We need an article talk jingle.
Come on, Jesse.
I mean, we
If
got,
only
we
had
got
a
our bumper
producer.
music. We got our bumper music. What more do you guys want?
It just seems like so bland. Article talk.
That's kind of fun, though. I kind of like it.
All right. Do you want
We can
to?
go back to doing full books if you guys would
Oh,
like.
no.
thanks. So article talk is great because I read this article again this morning and it took like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's a quick one.
And that's a lot better than taking 8 hours. So this morning's article
Is from the Atlantic, and it is called "Take a Wife, Please" by Olga Kazan.
Now, here's the premise of the article. She doesn't appear to be coming from any
Faith perspective.
faith perspective. She describes herself as a libertarian in the article, and she's been living with her boyfriend for
13
years.
Yep.
And what she's reporting on, though, is an avalanche of research.
Yeah, she starts the article with sort of a conglomeration of research that keeps pointing to the fact that married people seem to be happier.
Married people are happier, and she points to the various happiness, world happiness reports. There's a lot of different sort of versions of it, but basically, they're able to get pretty good sort of scientific information about the fact that when people are married, they tend to have metrics for well-being. Those metrics are higher than when people aren't married. Now, she then gets into why is that the case? She's kind
of wrestling with personally, should she get married, or are the reported happiness statistics just related to two people being in the same house?
Right. So she's been cohabitating, seems to be in a good relationship. She loves her boyfriend. She's now at a stage where she feels like he's been my boyfriend for 13 years.
Over a decade,
and it feels like I should move to the point where I could call him my husband, but like almost like I'm at a life stage where that ought to happen.
Yeah.
So she's sort of dealing with, I think maybe it's those expectations on her that she had for herself, or where she would be when she was in her 40s. And also she's grappling, I think, with does anything really magical happen when you sign the dotted line, when it becomes legal? And she's kind of coming to the point where she's sort of almost frustrated and begrudgingly coming to a conclusion that there is something to it. And
Well, she says two things. She says it could be either of these two things. It could be either one, people who are just generally happier choose to get married because they're desirable partners.
right,
So
which
like
I think was kind of an interesting.
Yeah,
point.
so like people who are generally just like nicer, pleasant to be around, find someone who wants to marry them.
Right.
And the people who are generally surly, nobody wants to marry them, right? So that they would prior to marriage report unhappiness, and then right, you see what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
So she's it's sort of that phenomenon.
It's chicken and egg.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like,
right.
are you happy because you're married, or did you get married because you're generally a more
Totally.
affable person?
Totally.
Right. And so then statistically, are happy single people who get married most likely are going to be happy married people.
Right, right. And if people get divorced, they're single again and they were unhappy. So unhappy people don't stay in the marriage, right? So they're single again.
Right.
And so they're going to report, they're single.
Right.
They're not happy. So
Yeah. So
or is it true? Like her second point was exploring what you previously mentioned, or is there something about marriage that makes people happier and have more satisfaction?
yeah, and I think she, even though she doesn't really explore that more than just sort of a couple of paragraphs, I mean,
Right.
it's a
short.
shortish article. She's sort of leading the reader to that place, I think. And
I thought it was interesting. She had that whole discussion without one mention of covenant or commitment. Like because I do think, from my experience, there's such a freedom and joy from knowing that there's a covenant and a commitment. And she doesn't touch that.
she doesn't. She's hinting at the kind of wisdom that comes from covenant
Right.
without using any of that language.
Yeah.
And looking strictly at the data that points to healthier lives and that marriage is a contributor to that. Mm-hmm. She kind of surmises that one reason why married people tend to be happier is that they're committed to someone, to the spouse that's committed to them. She describes them as a super friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're super friends. Like, they're friends, but they are committed to you to be your advocate until they're dead, or until you're dead. So like, it's a lifelong super friend, and they're
But
going to
she
be for
doesn't use
you.
the word commitment, but she calls them just like basically having, maybe she infers it.
Yeah. But they're your advocate. They're your
They're on your team.
yeah.
And she mentions like her partner is not a particularly aggressive or angry person, but if she hates something, he will hate it on her behalf
Yes.
with
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
And so she's not alone in that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's kind of like the ride or die. Like, I'm sort of that's a kind of loyalty.
Yeah,
She was-
and it maybe is like a sociological reality because people are so lonely now. So for her to see the main benefit as not being alone,
Yes.
might just be an indictment on like our current culture too.
I think there's some of that there as well. And there, of course, I think she's in New York.
Yeah, I think
I think
so.
she was in New York, where marriage itself was, I think it was popular to be viewed upon as old fashioned, out of date, stuffy. Why get married, when you're just going to get divorced, or it brings you down, or whatever. And I think she's sort of coming out of that culture and realizing, no, there really is some benefit here. Even though I kind of got what I wanted, I have a long-term committed relationship with someone who cares about me and isn't going anywhere. We're cohabitating, not married, but now I want it. Mm-hmm. And
I thought it was interesting. One of the reasons she hadn't done it was because of all of the sort of cultural expectations surrounding weddings and like the financial, legal.
$30,000 average.
Right.
She's talking about the optics and all that too.
Yeah, but there's a huge financial piece, like the cost of the wedding, and then the prenup, and all those things which weren't even, don't have to be part of a marriage, but
Right.
sort of have been bolted on, sort of an American, like when people think of American marriages.
And-
I just thought that was an interesting, like that was one of her big stumbling blocks.
Totally. And when she was writing it, the reason why they hadn't gotten married yet, even though they're moving that way, is the finance around getting the prenup.
Because she had to have a prenup lawyer, and he had to have a prenup lawyer, and then you don't have to spend $30,000 on a wedding,
Right.
Right, but just sort of what's been imposed upon marriage. I think in some ways, culturally outside of a faith system, loses actually the essence of it, to where she's kind of rejecting what she's affirming is what marriage actually is, right? It's like someone with you all the time, companionship, commitment. And what she's rejecting is sort of the cultural.
The accoutrements.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Well,
And yet giving in to other cultural expectations around marriage as well.
But would even admit that, like, one of the sources she cites is a German study saying, like, trying to go, okay, well, can you reach at least some degree of this with cohabitation versus marriage? And she says that this German study reports being, 2/3 as happy as marriage with cohabitation. She's like, but they can't account for that third, that gap. And she, posits a couple of ideas, but the reality is maybe that is where the security of covenant comes in.
Yeah.
It's like, even with cohabitation, there's nothing actually binding you to that person. There's nothing that says, like, you can say you're ride or die, but there's an element to I've in this covenantal way, I've bound myself
Yes.
to you, and in the comfort and the security and safety that actually comes from that. My guess is that's probably bridging that third and more.
Yeah,
you know?
where she said that 1/3 gap that isn't there is probably they just know
They're just happy to be getting
I don't
married.
love you enough to do it.
She's like, the fact that we want to be married accounts for that extra happiness. And I was like,
No.
So what'd you think overall of the article?
I thought it was really interesting. I think it's interesting reading it in light of the Proverbs series we're doing right now, because in some ways God made people in the world to work in a certain way, and when you live in accordance with it, it goes better, it goes well, and it's almost like she's discovering that in the back door, but she would have no idea, like, I'm living in accordance with the way God made people, but she's saying that.
She's stumbling
upon that reality without actually knowing that that's what the reality is.
This is one of, from outside looking in, a fun thing to not in a mocking way, but it is. I laugh at this idea that we don't pray anymore, but we speak affirmations.
Yeah,
and we don't confess, but we trauma dump. And it's like we have found this therapeutic language to describe this natural process for how we heal and grow. And the reality is, like, it's modern language for ancient principles which have existed. And we even look at with Gen Z and Gen Alpha, where the things that they hold most tightly as a value are a place to belong without judgment, and a place to be seen and known, and belonging to something greater than themselves. And these are the deepest desires of these generations. And yet so often they're the first to push back on Christianity, where it's like, hey, there's actually this place and there's this people you can belong to where all of those things are actually not only found, but you can thrive within them, right?
Yeah.
But to say that, hey, what you actually need is Jesus and to belong to a local church, that's not going to go over well. But it turns out that's exactly what, because again, like, as you were saying, Renee, like, created order, there's wisdom in created order, and things operate the way they should for a reason.
Yeah.
And
it's great that this is out there, because people will read this who, like Jesse said, would balk at any Christian reference and go, oh, that makes sense. And it's promoting secularly the way things were designed to be. So if someone reads this and it inches them toward a committed covenantal relationship, great.
Yeah. And she got a lot of flack for writing this. I
didn't know that.
I Googled the article, and there were a handful of articles about this article
Rebutting it.
written by people who are like, why have you gone so conservative? And which, of course, when you read the article, that's not her at all. And they kind of refusing to believe what has become obvious to her just by having eyeballs and just observing reality based on all these studies in her own life as well. So, yeah, there's another proverb that says that wisdom rests even in the heart of a fool. Like wisdom, because it's out in the open and it's a part of the way God made the world, even people who are far from God or don't have a Christian worldview, or they still can see things that are true,
right?
Because
I mean,
they're
it's
made
like
in God's
I love
image
the
and have
gravity
eyeballs.
illustration, because it's like everybody knows if you jump off the roof, you're going to fall to the ground, right? Like everybody can see that.
Yep.
And that's a physical reality, but to have for people can see spiritual realities too. Mm-hmm. But if I think it would be helpful to share this article with people who maybe aren't, like interested in marriage, or I don't know, it could be a touch point or a bridge, I think, for people.
Yeah. Great.
It's easy. It's short.
Awesome. Article talk. All right. Now it's time for everyone's favorite segment.
Everyone's new favorite segment.
Spouse advice.
Subtweeting one another. Wait.
This is our passive aggressive
Proxy
attempt.
warfare.
The idea behind this, I still think the idea is not sinister. I think the idea comes from a pure place. The idea behind it
I don't know.
is often when you're with someone for so long, it's really hard for them to hear hard things directly from you. And sometimes just hearing it, we have a famous story about the psychiatrist or the psychologist when he said that to you. Mm-hmm. And I'd been saying something to you for years and he said it and you were like, oh, okay. Right?
Yeah.
So the idea is we're going to go back and forth and we're going to give general advice to the opposite sex. So I'm going to give general advice to husbands out there because sometimes it's easier to hear from someone else than your spouse, but I think it's helpful advice. And then on the other week, Dave's going to give general advice to wives.
Right.
So
Not his wife.
no.
No.
Certainly not.
No. No advice needed.
So, the first couple were a little maybe passive aggressive. But this one I feel like actually is really helpful.
Okay. I'm all ears on behalf of the husbands out there.
Of all husbands out there. So
Let's hear it.
I don't know when this practice started, and then I don't know when we started calling it what we called it, but it's so helpful. And it's so encouraging. It's a little tiny thing that buoys me disproportionate to what the action is. So on Fridays, Dave, we call it Fresh Flower Friday. And for whatever, sometimes they're like gorgeous. Sometimes they're just like the carnations from King Supers, right?
I've never gotten
every
you carnations.
Friday,
He's like, put some
I've
respect.
never gotten you carnations.
Put some respect on my name.
but I'm just saying the quality sometimes you find whatever, but every Friday, Dave gets me fresh flowers. And it's such a wonderful start to the weekend to have fresh flowers. I don't know, and we kind of exaggerate it, and he comes in. I'm like, oh, Fresh Flowers Friday every Friday. But I feel like it's a tiny thing that has a disproportionate, joyful effect. So I think if you husbands out there, if your wife's like fresh flowers, start Fresh Flower Friday. I don't know what it is. I just think it's just the fact that it's the start of the weekend. It's been a wonderful thing.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
That you mentioned that. That's great. Can
Jesse?
I tell you something?
Where did it start? Or is that what you're gonna clarify?
No, but our neighbors, because I walk to Trader Joe's to get flowers on Friday mornings. Now whenever they see me walking to Trader Joe's or home from Trader Joe's, we have one neighbor in particular. It's like our neighborhood watch party is just him.
Michael?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we have
Just go ahead and
we
call
actually
him out. He might be a listener. Michael, shout out.
we actually have a few neighborhood watch people.
Yeah, we do. We do.
actually
We
have
don't have to name the other ones.
I'm not. I was just curious who noticed it.
It was the person you named previously, and two of the people who live in that same kind of complex.
Yep.
They saw me walking home from Trader Joe's. This was 2 days ago. It wasn't Friday. It was like a Wednesday or it was Tuesday. I didn't have flowers because it's Tuesday. They asked me, where's the flowers? So I've never talked to them about the flowers before, but they've actually noticed that when I come home, maybe they're off on Friday too, whatever, that I always have flowers with me.
Did you tell them?
I
What?
did. I was like, oh, I always get them on Friday. And they're like, oh, okay. But kind of, I think, interesting in terms of like broad advice. It was interesting that, I mean, I have the flowers for you, but for whatever reason, our neighbors somehow got some
Joy?
residual
Yeah.
like enjoyment from this husband that gets his wife flowers on Fridays.
That's cute.
Oh, that was cute.
So give it a try. Fresh Flower Friday.
Oh, fantastic.
All right, so we're moving on to our hot cold segment, and I still want what?
I'm so cold on something right
Yes, Dave's seething as he's preparing to share with you what he's out on. This is a section where we're going to kind of go back and forth and talk about things we're really in on or really excited about or things we are out, hot or cold.
Hard out.
Hard out. I think Dave is chomping at the bit to share his heart out.
now. Okay, so here's what I'm cold on. Now, I want to preface this by saying I love people in the medical profession. They do God's work, and I'm grateful for them.
Hedge more.
And people who fix teeth for a living. Dentist, orthodontist, you guys are great. We have some in our church. You guys, I appreciate your profession. Okay.
That being said,
However, now on the tail end of having our second teenager finishing orthodontia treatments, how can I say this? I feel right now I'm cold on at least our current program for orthodontia. For our second kid, I have a totally different perspective. For our third kid, I feel bled out. I feel every time
unnecessarily gouged.
Yes, every time I see one of our orthodontists driving, and I see those leather seats in her brand new Mercedes, I just think to myself, I bought those leather seats. I feel a little taken advantage of, and I feel that particularly right now because in addition to losing Bibles and losing phones, we had an orthodontist appointment this morning that I thought we were done, and now it turns out we have 4 more months to go. And frankly, I think my kid's teeth look just fine. and now that I look at my youngest before we even go through this, I think his teeth are perfectly fine. And I'm out. I'm out. I think I'm just going to give him to our dentist and say,
Do your best.
Say, hey, good enough, right? Am I right? Now, maybe this is short-sighted and maybe I'm feeling a little stung by an appointment this morning, but you asked if I'm hot and cold on something. I'm cold on that right now.
Yeah, well, I think we're in a it's a huge American value, like white straight teeth.
Yes.
And insurance, even good dental insurance, really doesn't cover much of it because it's elective and preferential. So I think we've created a scenario where they can just charge whatever they want. And what do you say?
Yeah.
Like, no, my kid's going to be the kid with like the crooked teeth. Like that's anathema in America. So I think it's exorbitant. What they charge is exorbitant.
Yeah.
Coupled with the fact that how it's moving is it doesn't necessitate a person because most of the kids we know now do Invisalign and don't do like traditional braces. And it's all done through a computer system outside of the orthodontics office and the monitoring of it.
It's beginning to feel scheme-y.
Yeah.
The scans are more accurate when they use the wand rather than you using your phone.
Right. And they did maybe 2 of those scans.
Yeah.
It's approaching.
Dave doesn't believe me.
I think there's probably a professional panic within orthodontics, the practice, because if they become unnecessary, their profession is gone. If everyone can work directly with Invisalign,
Right.
which our experience feels like we probably could have worked directly with them,
Right.
and
And have about $1 bazillion more in our pocket that could have gone to college. You have straight teeth. Sorry, no college. I hope in all of our infinite wisdom, we've made the right choice for you.
Does
child.
Invisalign even go direct to consumer though? Because I don't think they do.
No, they don't. They don't yet. They don't.
There's the
but
rub.
I think it's because of a lobby, not because they can't. That's what I think.
I don't know any of the back end of
I'm out of my
I
pay
don't
grade
either.
here.
It does. It just feels like it's almost like I don't want to rag on dentists either, but when we took our kids to a pediatric dentist young, and they're like, "You really need the $50 toothpaste," and we're like, "Yeah, I don't think we do."
It's like those teeth
so
are
they can
falling
swallow
out.
it? Yeah,
Yeah.
for the baby teeth? Yeah.
So it kind of feels like that. It feels icky like that.
Yeah, right now it does.
Yeah.
And again, it feels. I'm not claiming to be objective in my analysis right now.
I
That's
do
not
want-
what hot and cold is about.
No, I do want to say though, we can't just not do anything for Beckett.
Now his teeth are fine.
No, we can't. No, we can't just. I mean, we can go a different route, but we can't just be like, "I'm mad, so you get to be the kid with crooked teeth in college."
Don't take it out on your kid.
No,
It's not that crooked.
honey.
Not that crooked.
Honey,
All right,
I don't know.
All right.
This is
We're losing any semblance of objectivity here.
Okay.
Dave is out on orthodontia.
All right.
That's the take home.
Okay. Well, guys, this has been fun. Renee, why don't you give a little preview for our article next week?
Yes, we would love for you to read along with us. And since we are endeavoring to do more bite-sized, shorter reads, please read along with us, and it might make it more interesting and more easy to interact with our content. So next week we are going to do, since I just mentioned they're short, we're going to do 2. We're going to compare and contrast 2 articles from different sources along the same lines. So one of the articles is from the Gospel Coalition, and one is from some random UK website called redonline.co.uk. But the first one from the Gospel Coalition, When You Don't Feel Like Having Sex with Your Spouse, by Lauren Washer. So that's that one. And then we're also going to discuss from redonline.co.uk.
Which, by the way, kind of has a saucy picture,
It does.
FYI.
And it's called Concerned About Your Sex Drive. Here's everything you need to know, because a normal sex drive doesn't exist. That's the byline, or that's the descriptor. And it's by Emily Lavinia. So that's what we're doing.
Read those and
Talking about the libido gap.
Yep, the libido gap.
Yep, read those and enjoy the conversation.
And
It's gonna be
don't
next
look
week.
at the
Picture.
one article with your kids around.
That's right.
All right. Thanks for listening. We hope this was fun and maybe a little encouraging.
Cool. All right. See you guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Let your